Hey everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. We're gonna get started. Um, yeah, so thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another episode of Lens with Advanced Design. My name is Hector Silva. Today's guest is based in Germany, so please excuse any type of disruption that we get during this webinar. Um, so appreciate your patience on that. Our next guest is Fynn Eckstein. He's an industrial and user experience designer living and working in Munich. He's a graduate from the Munich University of Applied Sciences and has worked for consultancies in London, Milan, and Munich for various industries ranging from aviation to power tools. In 2008, he co-founded the event discovery platform Nexup, for which he's working currently as a user experience designer. Besides being a sneaker aficionado, Fynn really enjoys playing around with the new tech, which is how he's currently hooked on VR. So, with further ado, Fynn, thank you so much for being here and really appreciate your time. For those who are tuning in, I advise you to please ask any questions in the Q&A section of this webinar. And once we have a conversation, we will integrate those questions into our conversation. So I'm going to let you take it over from here.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me. First, let me do the screen share. Is the audio fine?
Yeah, so at the bottom of your screen, there should be a green button that says share screen. There you go. Good
cool. Perfect. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Fynn. Nice meeting you all. Today I'm going to talk about how virtual reality can enhance your design process. But first up, a quick breakdown about me, like what I've done so far. I studied at the Munich University of Applied Sciences. You can here see some of the short thesis. It was on the topic of the future of the last mile in parcel transportation and how we can create the benefit for the user who orders a parcel, but also for the city, that it's not cramped with delivery vans and whatever. But if you want to get the full story, you can at our website and check it out. After my or during my studies and also afterwards, I was really fortunate to, in my somewhat short professional life, had to work with different consultancies and different studios. During my studies, I had the chance to work at Tangerine in London and work in the aviation industry and in interior mostly, which was really amazing because you have these super complex products like these seats and whatever, and they have to be like super multi and of course it's somewhere where some people sit for a long time, so ergonomics are a huge thing there. Plus I learned really a lot of camera finish and how easily CMF can change the look of a product entirely, so this was really cool. Then I also worked there at a small studio, Tartich Design Studio, and there I did a lot of consumer goods. I had the chance to work with an amazing team. Also, I had the chance to do or to work on a yacht project, which was amazing for me because I'm really into boats. But yeah, after my studies, I started as an industrial designer at Eckstein Design here in Munich, where I mostly worked on the various industrial tools, power tools, and I was really lucky to work on some super niche innovations in some areas that will come out probably next year, which was really fun when you not only like rework or enhance a product, but you could like totally rethink how processes are made. So yeah, That's my industrial design history. Also, like during my times in Munich, some of my friends and we started thinking about doing something, and we started a startup, Nexup, which is an event discovery platform. So we had the issue, you sometimes go on the Instagram and you see your friends are on a cool event and you missed it because you didn't not even like saw it, you did not get notified, you didn't get like the memo. And we thought, would it be cool if you have a platform where you could find events that are definitely matching your interests, no matter whether they're big or events, just a platform where you find events that really matches you. And so we started Nexup as the first really personal event platform. Of course, Corona right now is not the best for the event industry. So we are now pivoting to full on online. But there are some issues, of course, with online events, and it's way harder to find them. But we try to make our best with online events and hope like offline events will come back sooner or later. Okay, yeah, that's enough about me. What is VR or what is virtual reality? Just so that we all get onto the same page. It's kind of simple. So we probably all know how a normal 3D image in our head is generated. You have like these two images from the left eye, from the right eye, and then you see like the three-dimensional image in your head. And what does virtual reality? Like you have to get headsets, and they have like two lenses, and these lenses kind of replicate what your eye would see in the real world. So if you see a cube, you would see the cube, and of course, like these two like slightly misaligned images. And to create a virtual reality, like the same technique is used to create a total digital space. And as an add-on to that, so that you not only have to look in one direction, set tracks like your rotations in every direction. And plus, I think you can already see it, like you can't see it in real life, but you can see it on camera. It's like a tracking array, and you get tracked by some base stations here on my desk. And also, like if you step left, the image steps left, and so on. So you really get immersed into like a bubble around you, displaying digital content. It sounds really theoretical. If you ever have tried it, definitely give it a try. It's amazing, even though like the headsets are still pixelated and whatever. You really immerse yourself instantly in these environments. Crazy, but it's a bit hard to describe. So how to get into VR? I got the headset I have here right now. It's like from Oculus headset in late 2018, I think. And back in the days, like everything was wired up to a computer, so you have to have and the headset and everything, and base stations and so on. But this really changed. You can now have, like this is the new headset, which is completely wire-free. It's all running on more or less a smartphone. It has cameras built in, so tracking does work really easily. It's getting way easier to try VR, to use VR, but it's still a super niche market, I would say. Still not a lot of people have headsets because the use cases outside of gaming are still rare, and this is why today I'm going to show you some, I think, really cool use cases on VR can be used for designer. Yeah, VR as a tool. So I have three huge areas where we can use design to enhance our design process. But of course, little disclaimer, it's still a tool, it's a designer. You still have to know what you do, but I think VR is an amazing tool to enhance your communication on a product. And yeah, I will show you later what I mean with this. I will demo some stuff for you. But yeah, I think it's really amazing to use for different areas. But yeah, what are the three areas I think the biggest impact for designers are? One is to view, to preview stuff, especially in original scale. Two, during current situation, I think meeting in VR could get way more important in the coming years if people are looking for an alternative to Zoom calls. And last, where I think right now the biggest impact can be is to create in VR. Okay, I will now give you a quick overview about what tools are on the market for these different areas and what you can do with it. And yeah, it's a bit bad, but you always have to imagine that they are like completely immersing you. So I try to do my best in explaining also later in the demo what I see, but it's really sometimes a bit tricky to explain what you see in VR when it's only 2D for someone else. But yeah, I hope I do my best to explain. So I think every more or less modern render engine gives you an option to build up VR spaces. There's like a demo video from which is, I think, really amazing because you can preview, visualize, show your design in the actual scale. So it's something that is like a car, which is really huge. It really allows you to view the design as you would in real life without building a model. Yeah, of course, VRED and other engines have similar features. One I want to highlight is Sketchfab because it's more or less free. There are pro, of course, but it's also browser-based. No one needs to have expensive software. They have built-in shaders, everything. You can just upload your 3D model. It's really cute, and you can see it on the bottom right corner. You can then preview your PlayStation 5 if you can't get them in real life. At least as a VR object in your flat. But they are amazing because it's so easy. You can send it to everyone. No software needed in the browser, and you have a headset plugged in. It does work. Yeah, when it comes to meeting, we have Spacial, and I personally haven't tried it, but it was endorsed on another LAN session, and I think the marketing material looks really amazing. And if it does work as they show, I think there's a bright future for meeting in VR. Probably a bit too early for this because not so many people have headsets. But I can totally believe that maybe in the future get up in virtual spaces and discuss projects in virtual spaces to avoid a lot of traveling and whatsoever. Yeah, let's get into creating. I think there are now like a lot of tools upcoming for creating. I think one of the is Alias Create VR, which comes with Alias, and it really looks amazing to like model surfaces. They have some amazing demos. They model some cars in VR. It really like highlights the feature of Alias, but of course, like not everyone can afford a software license for Alias, and it also feels a lot like a modeling tool. And this is how I get to my favorite tool, I would say, which is Gravity Edge. And I think this is like the tool that really combines a lot of these features into one. So you can like really loose sketch, you can create create surfaces, create volumes, and also now you can co-create with other people. And yeah, and that's actually about what you can do in VR. But I really want to stop talking about what you can do. So now I want to show you some stuff about like how you do it, and therefore I will try to live demo it. So let me stop this screen sharing and get the other screen sharing. Perfect. I hope you can see.
Yeah, we can see.
This screen. Perfect. So let's get into VR. I hope I'm not sliding the image while sketching, out of this frame while sketching. So let me kind of find a nice position where you still can see me and still can see something with my hands. That looks fine. Ah, yeah, perfect. Okay. So yeah, I had to put my talking points into VR. Yeah, that's like the space you see when you open up Gravity Sketch. You have like your two hands for controllers, and like Gravity Sketch is really simple. Like you have some of the features, like these are all the features you more or less have. You can draw like lines, you can draw lines without weight, you can create like rotation shapes or rotate around an object. Give me a second. And there, with all these tools, they have so many like sub functions, and you find them in so many crazy ways that you can really build everything you can imagine. So like, just give me a demo. Like the cool thing is like, if you sketch 2D, you would just like sketch something flat. But if you sketch with Gravity Sketch, you can like go in and you can turn the surface and rotate it and like do whatever you can imagine in a three-dimensional space. And afterwards, like you can rotate and modify everything. And yeah, I think that's the crazy thing about sketching in VR is that you really like, if you go back to the line tool, you're not only bound to like something that's flat, but you can also like sketch as you want, dimension you can imagine, and then you can turn it and you sketch from a different direction. I think, yeah, that's like the main advantage of sketching in VR. You are not bound to two dimensions, but you're bound to, yeah, you're not bound to two. You're open to three. So yeah, for quick demos. So what can you do? So for example, I've sketched this one up quite some time ago, and like you can zoom in and get all the details right. But the really amazing thing is, if you like, you can hopefully see it like down here with the numbers. If you go to 100%, you like have sketched something with a human that's human size, and like you're standing in front of this whatever wheel, and you really see it as 1.5 meters. Now you can like move around your object and evaluate it in real size. And I think this is really a huge advantage of VR, because sometimes you use yourself on the paper, you don't have any idea on how big stuff is, how small. When you start modeling CAD, you're always looking at your monitor. You really have to print it out or whatever to find out how big something is. With VR, you can just like put it in this size and then go in and draw something here, and then you go back to not 50 but 100%, and you more or less directly see the impact you've made onto like the real size, or whether it does look good in the scale you imagine it. So yeah, this. So, but how does the process for me look when I start a project, or like I use it a lot for ideation. So for early design stages, I would say, where you like quickly sketch out ideas, because it really allows you to like get a step further, because like one of the great features is you can, like, for example, like get in some base model, like this one. It's like you for example have this as a boundary. You have to work inside of a drivetrain that's defined, so you can directly get into it, but not only like you would on paper, you in a 2D sketch, but you can now like directly go onto the 3D and go like, okay, whatever. You can directly work with, for example, in head, you say, I have to model whatever, a pair of sunglasses. You can directly go in here and start directly modeling onto a head, in only not like bound to like drawing a side view, drawing whatever front view, then maybe drawing another perspective. You can more or less like skip all these side-by-side drawing, so that you can directly imagine your product in 3D, which I think makes it, of course, sometimes a bit more difficult, because you have to think about other restrictions, but in general, it makes it more of a real product or real idea art, because you're not really like have all the dimensions, all the boundaries you have to have in your first ideas. And like how this can look. So what I normally do is I would, for example, like get some mood images in. I just pulled together on the internet, and I will now try to like quickly demonstrate like my workflow on hand of I think Gravity Sketch is an amazing tool for complex surfaces. So of course it's kind of hard to like model a Xbox Series X, but it's probably not getting any further than this, because it's really good for complex surfaces. All the tools are like with like you can create like really like dynamic flowing surfaces. If you, for example, do like some power tools, do cars, do if you do robots or whatever, there I think it really like its biggest impact. But if you of course do some super minimal, maybe it sometimes lacks a bit of detail. But okay, let me get started. So I want to do some like outdoor-ish sneaker concept, and therefore just to give myself a bit of a fixed point, I will import. Yeah, give me a second. I will import a shoe last. There we go. So I have to find. So yeah, now you have the last here, and if you put it on 100%, it shows you like a shoe in your normal size. I'm sorry that there's one image flying around. Fix that. Perfect. So now we have a shoe last, and okay, I normally try to make it a bit transparent, and like one of the nicest features, you can go like for instant mirror. And now what I would do is just like I have some ideas of how it looks, I have some mood board. I just go in and just try to explore some shapes. I just thinking about what's in my head and trying to kind of directly express it as you would with like sketching. You would just try some stuff. You have some moods. Now it's all a little bit transparent. Give me a sec. And yeah, of course, you can see you can work with layer. You can work with I will later some more complex surfacing tools. Yeah, now you can see it better. So like just like you can just go for whatever style you are, whether you're like one of the like fast and dirty line sketcher, or you go for like really precise lines. You can kind of adapt to whatever style you are. And the cool thing is like you can directly like go for three-dimensional shapes. You're not bound to 2D. And you can also, maybe it seems a bit unnatural to directly like find the right depth, but because you really see the object in 3D, it really you don't have to think a lot about the shape or whatever, because you easily get the feeling for where you are in space, which is, I think, super amazing and really allows you to quickly like rough out stuff and play around with different different options. Like, for example, now, okay, I'm not so happy with this. You can go in and you see like everything I've done is like controlled by a control point you see in Rhino or whatever, and you can just go in and like you can manipulate 2 points. You can also, but for example, now we have like this nice curve, but you can also grab like 4 points, and by like turning your hand, you kind of manipulate the curve inside the space, not only like 2D or one direction. You can really like get multiple points and turn them out and in and whatever. And it really feels super intuitive, because it is what you do when you could grab a line in a sketch or could grab a line in CAD. It really feels really intuitive, and this is why it also makes it super easy to learn. You don't have to invest a lot of time learning this tool. Of course, there's a learning process for everything, but it easily gives a chance to explore stuff, even though you can only draw lines. Like I only have drawn lines until now, and yeah, of course, it's still far away from here, but like you can easily like add some details and add another whatever like I would do right now, like add some special fabric here or so on. You can just go on and like start with super rough sketching, and of course like I've now mirrored everything, because it's way easier to do everything mirrored first, but afterwards you break the stuff up. Now like you can adapt it then to like the perfect shape of a shoe. Okay, let me quickly add some laces here. So, and yeah, punch out these lines, because like the funny thing is it really feels a lot like sketching. If you for example watch a sketching tutorial at sketchaday.com, you would see him talking about line weight and everything. And if you go in here and everything is the line weight is everything equal, it looks dull. But if you then like you can increase like your line weight and go in with a really big brush and really punch out the sole here, and maybe also like this red detail, it gets more character and so on. And this is really what I really enjoy about it, is that it's like the pad with all the 3D combined with the easy techniques of sketching that are so simple to apply. So yeah, and like I would now of course refine this a bit more, but I also and what I would then do, maybe I would just go for like duplicating the last and go for another idea. So you could like go for another last and sketch out another idea. So I've already of course added some little sketches here. So like we have 3 ideas that probably took me around half an hour. I quickly sketched them out. And now, as you would do with a sketch, maybe a sketch, you would go for, I would go for like an overlay. And for example, let's pick this one. What I would now do, I would get in and that allows me to like control the curve by clicking, which now is more like a spline in any conventional 3D modeler like Rhino or SolidWorks. And also the funny thing is, if you do like a spline like this, you can directly export it as an IGES, and you will have the centerline data. So if you really fancy your curves you have created here, you can put them to whatever tool you use. They offer, I think, FBX, OBJ, and IGES. So you can either data or some nice NURBS if you want to go on. Yeah, and as you can see, do then is like refine my line work, get all the details like nicely worked out, and refine some stuff. So for example, you can see here like this is all super rough in the initial sketch, and now with the I normally go with the second layer. I add like this nice and really clean curves on top. So, and then I go in and refine them. I zoom out, like check it out from does this work for me? Does this not work for me? And I think this process is really easy to transport to every other product, because no matter whether you do like a helmet or a sneaker, like you would get for bike helmet, you would get the head, start sketching on top of the head. Maybe you get the product you want to refine, you just get the original file in, and then you would work from there. Okay, so don't to not talk too much about VR. I will quickly jump the refinement and try to get my already refined sneaker in here. So you can see here right now, get the sketch out. This is now like the refined version I've done. I've like started thinking about how this detail up here look, added some details here, added some pull tabs, maybe refined the idea of this zigzag sole a bit, added some details here on the lacing. And what I now would do, and this is like one of the newer tools in Gravity Sketch, is you can create like some sub-D modifiable surfaces. So let me quickly create a new layer. And these are like now, like if someone maybe has modeled some sub-D, Blender works, this is kind of similar to that. So you have like these cubes of surfaces with control dots, and if you like now turn on here subdivision, you get like this mathematically calculated surfaces that you can then like morph into different shapes and whatsoever. It is a bit of a different workflow than I would say to normal CAD, like you would experience in Rhino SolidWorks, but it really feels more intuitive in this environment we are, where you can just go in and pull stuff in the direction you want. And what I would now go for is like I would like easily like go in here and try to rough out like the surfaces I'm imagine they have to be like. Okay, we got here the upper. Maybe let's add another here. So yeah, and like it's super rough, and then you go in, you add another. Well, you don't add another row of dots. Give me just a quick. Okay, so now here we go. So you just go in, add another row of dots. You can then like kind of morph the surface better onto the line created as a guidance. Okay, so this was the idea. And so like this would I would repeat this for all of the little. I would get another one, build up this soul, build up this upper here, and yeah, it really like really intuitive. Like you just, it feels so natural to control points, move them in the direction you want to, and of course afterwards I would then like break all the mirrors and like get them then matching the shoe last I've already imported. So then I can be like, yeah, this side, this shoe has to be wider because yeah, this is like a shoe, a foot is not symmetrical, and so on. And yeah, I've to kind of give you a heads up on how this then looks. Yeah, so we get rid of this. And there. And this is how the final result can look. It takes quite some time. It maybe took me an hour to get it to the state, but then I already have like added some solid and so on. And of course, you could now jump in and add even more details. I think like this side area here seems to be a bit empty, but also maybe it will get some interesting material going on here. So yeah, but I think with all of these 3 stages, whether it's like the super rough sketch, whether it's like the line drawing, or this, they're all like really in a good way to show them or to work further on them. And if you want to kind of get out of VR, because sometimes you have to show people something in 2D and you can't always show stuff in 3D. Like as I said, you can like for one export the model. I do this quite a lot and then render it or so, but I think it's like a nice to have, but it's not like what you would do if you have to like push this project further, even though it looks really nice. And I really enjoy rendering techniques on my gravity sketch model. But I think what's way more impressive is like the let me get rid of the mood board, the screenshot tool. You can directly like take screenshots inside of Gravity Sketch and like maybe email them to someone, or what I sometimes do is just like get the screenshot, go into Procreate and like sketch over it and say, there I have to change something, and like mix all techniques. Also, like in the beginning, I showed you I pulled in like the mood board. Like if you don't feel too comfortable to like directly ideate CR, like get in some sketches first, like pull in some sketches here and then work from there in 3D. And I think they're like, you can really integrate it super dynamically into your workflow. One last thing, which is I think really amazing, what you can do is, so like in the beginning of the whole thing that's happening, I think a lot of designers thought about, how can we make a cool mask? And of course, yeah, I can say I didn't do the same. Of course, I thought about, like how would the mask look I want? And what you can do then is like I just got in the head. It's like a model that comes with Gravity Sketch. I started like with a rough sketch, and then I refined it, and now I like have this really scale model of the head. But what's even cooler, okay, I was really happy with it in 3D. Okay, now I have to quickly get off my headset. Is to export it to OBJ, and then I hope you can see it. Like, can super easily create high quality prints from it, which is really nice, and it's really easy. Of course, this is not printed at home. This is printed professionally, but you can definitely print most of your sketches super easily with minor tweaks in any 3D tool. I hope my quick walk through VR was not too long. I hope I could get you all hooked on some VR headset, because so many options, like with Gravity Sketch now, you have the co-create mode, multiple people can jump in, and we can all create together. And I think there's a bright future for ideating in design in virtual reality. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Fynn. Really appreciate it. Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we have some time for a couple of questions. That was pretty awesome, honestly. I have a question right off the bat. And my question is, what is the learning curve in learning Gravity Sketch or jumping into VR?
Of course, like for me, the learning curve was super steep. For me, it was like getting into it, and like especially like the line tool, like they are super intuitive, because it's just like it's the line where your hand is. So for someone who is like maybe somewhat text heavy, I would describe me as this. It's the learning curve is super steep, but also for anyone else, get in and you start playing around, because there's not this like problem of you have to learn the tool like what you would have with you would have to know all the commands. With SolidWorks, you would know which button you have to press to, for example, create a boss extrude or so. And there's not existing, I would say. So I think the learning curve, especially Gravity Sketch, super steep, because super simple. But if you want to like go super deep, you can go crazy on it.
Now, you mentioned that you are a sneakers aficionado, and you love shoes. And in your work, actually on your social media, today, you actually showed us a sneaker. And in your social media, you actually do a lot of sneaker related modeling in Gravity Sketch as well. Um, I think that's pretty awesome, and I think one thing that I'm noticing with doing things in VR is you're able to take something that can take you forever. You're taking an object that's more complex, whether it's in SolidWorks or in Fusion, and you're almost cutting the time in half by exploring this in VR. I think that is awesome. That's pretty awesome for a designer to have a tool like this.
Yeah, I think this is why I'm so interested in doing this. I couldn't imagine doing it in any other CAD tool I can imagine. I can right now. I'm only like fluent in Rhino and SolidWorks. I can't see myself modeling a sneaker in SolidWorks. So, and Gravity Sketch gives you like this opportunity to do like all this crazy free flowing stuff. And this is what it's really like the pro tool to quickly get in, do stuff, and you have like all this super nice surfaces, crazy surfaces. And yeah, their sneakers are a great example for these crazy surfaces. Cars, I think, is another great example. There's some people on Instagram doing amazing car work. Yeah, I think that's where this tool really is shining.
Yeah. Here's a question from the audience. How do you find the most success incorporating traditional methods into your design workflow with Gravity Sketch?
Sometimes I definitely like I have some scribbles on my desk here, like some black marker things you do during some Zoom calls. I snap them with my iPhone. I put them into Gravity Sketch, and then from there on, I have like this baseline So I would say it's like level sketch. And also from there on, if you have done like, if you're really happy with the surface, and if you're really happy with your line work, you can get out like the Aegis curves actually looks really good now. Like they really made it better and better. I'm not so much of an like traditional poly. So for me, if I get stuff out, I try to like stick with lines and rotated objects. So because they really make line work in Aegis files, and yeah, take the lines as a baseline, build them up in Rhino, build them up in SolidWorks, or just get screenshots and like get screenshots from every site, put it into Rhino, put it into SolidWorks, or yeah, just go for initial print. I think this is now part of our everyday design workflow. So it's super easy, and I think it's really just do like a session just to validate your ideas you have in your head. Maybe just throw away the gravity sketch in the end, but just so that you know how the shapes are flowing. Like if you have a problem with the surface, model in and try to figure out how the surface is flowing in 3D. I think there are many options, and I think it's also a great learning for modeling in any other software.
Absolutely.
Because you understand the surfaces where that you shaped it by hand.
Yeah, and VR technology and the headsets, I think that's becoming more accessible. It's becoming more affordable. Also, the software is getting better from when it started, and there's going to be more opportunities for designers to, use other software in their process, and bring ideas to a physical space quicker. And I think that's amazing. I think a lot of students and a lot of educators and professionals should really explore using VR and using as this is getting better and cheaper and more affordable. I think people should really play around with VR and a headset, and not have any excuses, because I think it is fun. I think I know a lot of institutions also invest. A lot of universities are investing in VR headsets, so their students are able to explore. So I think it's a really good tool. That's what it is. It's a really good tool.
So, and I think it's really important to get these industry applications, because if we still only stuck with like gaming, the market is huge, but as long as we're not like I think getting the applications, this will still stay super niche. But as soon as like, imagine every designer would have a VR headset, like they would have sold millions probably, but also it would get way more powerful. So this is why I think it's a great step from the Soul system to now I think have it in CATIA and also in Alias. I mean, like no one can afford the software to be honest, but some people do and some people pay for it. And if they get into VR, the tools are getting, and the technology is getting better and better. And I think it's really important that we all, because I think it's a really amazing tool and we have to push it.
If you are getting a VR headset right now for sketching, which VR headset do you recommend?
I would definitely Quest, like the standalone Quest, the white one I showed, because you can also pin it to a computer if you need the extra power for some, like if you want to do Keyshot VR, if you want to get like, I think you get some extra shaders and shadows in Gravity Sketch if you have it hooked to your computer. The only really downside is that you have to link your Facebook account. I think that's really a huge pity with Oculus right now, that they're like now bound to Facebook and everything is linked to Facebook.
Yeah.
But I think that like just the chance that you put it into your backpack and you go somewhere and just demonstrate it without moving your whatever half grand PC and your headset and everything and 200 cables. I think this is like a huge advantage. So this, I would definitely, I think I would get this one. I know, I think kind of fine.
I have one more question to ask you, and we can kind of wrap this up. And this is a really good question. Do you see VR sketching becoming an essential step in the design process?
I would not say it becoming an essential step. I think it can definitely speed up. I mean, if it would be an essential step, we would still have, we would already have it. But I think it really speed up the process in a lot of ways. It can really get you faster into 3D, get your ideas quicker validated, get your positions better managed. You can definitely see, oh, do you have enough space here? Do you have enough space here to get the packaging in the box or whatever? I think it can definitely speed up. Of course, you have it's a tool. You have to know the boundaries, and Gravity Sketch, they're a really young company and they're doing amazing stuff. So we definitely get some more, definitely some more tools. I definitely see a huge advantage in using it for certain applications, and therefore, yeah, I think if it's more and more accessible, we will see it in a lot of studios, I believe so.
Absolutely. Well, Fynn, thank you so much for being a part of Lens, for coming on here, tuning in from Germany. We really appreciate it, and also showing us how you use VR sketching in Gravity Sketch. I thought that was pretty awesome. For those who don't follow Fynn on social media, go follow him. He is always posting amazing work, and is also posting his videos on how he does this in VR. So Fynn, thank you so much, and we will see everyone on our next Lens.
Thank you. It was amazing. Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Take care.